Ladies and gentlemen, as we begin our services, if we can please kindly turn off all cell phones or electronic devices, or please place them on silent. Thank you.
Adonai Adam Vatidarechu Ben Enosh Vachashverechu Adam le'avel Dama Yamav Ketzel Baboke Atzitz V'chalav La'erev V'moleh V'yavish Tashev Enosh Adaka Vatomer Shuvu V'nei Adam. We gather today with all our hearts, souls, and minds to remember, but more importantly, so much more importantly, to celebrate the life of Lois. We gather with many mixed emotions, certainly with the emotion of knowing that she is no longer with us in this life, but with the knowledge that in Judaism, someone never really dies. Their successes, their loves, their achievements, their likes, their characteristics are passed on from generation to generation. And as is custom in Judaism, to name boys and girls that have just been born, I can certainly foresee in your families, in years to come, there will be many little Loises running around. And those little Loises or Lewises will be taught that they are named after someone so very, very special that we gather here today and learn about her and speak about her, and knowing that those stories that will bring smiles to our faces will be passed down Ledor Vador from generation to generation for many, many years to come. We also gather with the knowledge that Lois is on her way in all God's speed to her eternal resting place, to be with those who have gone before her in a reunification of love. And as King David wrote in the 23rd Psalm, God will walk us through the valley of the shadow of death. King David never wrote that God will leave us there. So one day, you shall wake up, and what will be left in your hearts are simply the happy and the joy-filled memories of Lois, and those will be the memories that will last forever, and those will be the memories that you can share with all the generations that are yet to come that will be taught about your Lois. So if you know the traditional words of the 23rd Psalm, we say them out loud with all of our hearts together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restores my soul. He guides me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Certainly, if you had the honor and the privilege of knowing Lois, she went by many names of love to you specifically, a family name, a formal name, a nickname, a silly name, Bubby. So when we say the words, we will remember. Please say the name that she was known to you specifically, the name that you will have the honor of calling her when you have the privilege of thinking and dreaming about her. In the rising of the sun and at its going down, we will remember. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we will remember. When the summer turns into the beauty of the fall, we will remember. When the fall turns into the chill of the winter, we will remember. When winter becomes the rebirth of spring, we will remember. When we have joys we yearn to share, we will remember. So long as we live, she too will live, for she is now a part of us, as we will always remember. We begin Words of Love with Stephanie.
Thank you to our family and friends for being here today, and to those supporting us from a distance. Your love and support means the world to us. A special thank you to Mom's caregivers and nurses for loving Mom and giving her the care that she so deserved. Dad, through sickness and health, as you vowed so many years ago, you always stuck by Mom's side. Mom loved you almost as much as you love cars. Mommy, my first best friend, confidant, biggest cheerleader, shopping partner, the best mother, bubby, wife, sister, aunt, and friend. I will miss you terribly and have been missing who you truly were for a long time since this horrific disease took you from us. I am proud to be your daughter. Mom was loving, caring, generous, funny, family-oriented, and well-respected. A friend to many. She would give you the shirt off her back, or if you needed something, she was there for you, always offering to help. Anyone who knew her was fortunate to have her in their life. She had an enthusiasm for life and would light up the room. I have so many special memories of my mom, a beautiful person inside and out, truly an amazing woman. Mom was a stay-at-home mom and didn't work outside the home until later in life. She was a very strong woman and raised us with all of her love. Mom was hardworking at the jobs that she held, was manager of a weight loss center, always telling people and the clients about the healthy food she ate to stay so skinny. Later, she became co-owner of MB Auto with Dad. She could sell anyone a Mercedes with her gorgeous smile and genuine charm. Years later, I had a large project to complete for work, and Mom offered to assist me. This eventually led to Mom being hired to work alongside me at Rothkopf Law Group. I was fortunate to have her as my coworker and saw her every day for many years, sometimes arriving in a similar outfit or the same shoes. The title that meant the most to her was Mom to Danielle, David, and me, and Bubby to her 4 grandsons, Jason, Jared, Cameron, and Jake. Bubby loves you and is proud of you always. I'd like to share a few of Mom's favorite stories. Mom never had a love for food, only her favorites, such as ice cream, cookies, and chocolate. Early on, when I was dating Ted, he came over the house for a barbecue. Not being much of a cook, Mom took Ted's burger off the grill with a spatula and went to serve Ted the burger right off the spatula, and it went right into his lap. We laughed about this one for years. When my son Jason was born, he was the first grandchild to both sets of grandparents. I can recall Jason's bris. I was in his baby nursery with the Moyle and my mom. The Moyle was explaining something and for some reason asked if Mom was a nurse. Surprised by that, she replied, "No, I'm just a bubby, and I'll do anything for my grandson." Another story Bubby would tell was when she visited Danielle and Craig when they lived in Massachusetts. During that visit, they went to a zoo, and Cameron wanted to ride on the giant elephant. He was too little to go alone, so someone had to accompany him. They all looked at each other, and Mom stepped right up and said, "I'll go." She sure would do anything for them. With no apparent fear of elephants, somehow, Mom was always afraid of dogs. When her grandsons were young, she decided to get a cute little white Westie, Nigel, just so the boys would feel comfortable around dogs because she didn't want them to have the same fear that she had. This gesture resulted in all of her grandsons loving dogs and having dogs in their lives. For Mom's 60th birthday, we planned a surprise weekend with her sisters and her lifelong friend Laura. We went to New York City to see the Broadway show Jersey Boys. Mom was in her glory to be with some of the most important women in her life, dancing and singing the songs from her youth by Frankie Valli. We love you, pretty baby. We love you, pretty mama. We will continue to talk about Mom, share her stories to keep our memory of her alive, and I hope that you will too. Now we celebrate the beautiful life she lived, always and forever in our hearts. Like she used to tell me when the song "Every Breath You Take" by The Police came on the radio. I know every move we make, she'll be watching us. I will miss you always and love you forever, Mommy. Danielle's turn.
You can introduce me. I need an introduction.
All right. And my sister Danielle, all the way from Denver.
Thank you. Thank you.
You got this.
Okay. I always said I could never do this, but look at me. I'm doing it. Mommy, lady, my ladybug. I've had lots of time to think of my favorite things about you, and here are my top 5. When I think about you, most of the time, you are dancing. Always one of the first people on the dance floor at a wedding or bar mitzvah. You were the happiest when dancing. We had this inside joke. I don't even know how it started. Maybe once you had your tongue sticking out of your mouth while dancing, or maybe we saw someone else doing that, but we would always look at each other every time we danced, stick our tongues at each other, and laugh. Your laugh was one of my favorite sounds. Your smile lit up the world. Thank you for showing me how glorious it feels to just let loose and dance. Another favorite thing about you was your passion for ice cream. You taught me that no matter how full we were from dinner, there's always room for ice cream. We've had some really intense, important conversations over Friendly's Sundays, extra marshmallow sauce for you. I have come to realize, though, that it is not just about the ice cream, but taking the time to savor the things in life that bring you joy, even if it's just an ice cream cone. The one thing about you that makes me laugh the most was your cooking style. Not exactly like Julia Childs, you are more of a wing-it cook. Stephanie and I crack up about the typewritten recipes you gave us that call for some onions, some carrots and potatoes, and cook until done, never including a measurement or exact timing. Maybe this is why my mashed potatoes are never made the same way twice. I will continue to use your stuffing recipe for Thanksgiving, which was your favorite holiday, and I'll smile and think of you. The best thing about you, Mommy, is your love for your family and friends. The most loyal person I know, the first person to ever love me. You taught me how to be a mother, a sister, and a friend, and I truly appreciate that. But we all know that your absolute joys in life were your boys, Bubby's boys. You love to share the story about when someone asked you if you had any grandchildren, and you proudly replied, "Yes, I have 4 grandsons," with a big smile on your face. And they replied, "Oh, so no girls?" And you said, "I'm the luckiest for having my 4 grandsons." And then you probably whipped out your phone to show them a million photos. We always loved the irony of you being a mom to 2 girls and then a bubby to 4 grandsons. Finally, your spontaneity. For a woman who wasn't the most adventurous, you have done some spontaneous things. My favorite is the time you visited us in Australia by yourself. I scheduled a surprise spa day for us at a luxurious beachfront spa. We were going to have massages and facials, followed by lunch overlooking the bay. I was excitedly telling you about it the day before, feeling so happy to pamper you with this mother-daughter day. You looked at me, you hesitated a little, and then said, "This all sounds great, but what about getting tattoos instead?" I looked at you in complete shock and said, "What? No spa day?" So I canceled our appointments and asked Craig to quickly draw up some pretty hearts for us. Never in a million years did I imagine getting matching tattoos with my Jewish mother from Long Island during her visit with me in Australia. Thank you for teaching me that sometimes you have to just do the crazy things. You only live once. I was just saying to Stephanie the other day that we were the lucky ones because she was our mom. But then I got to thinking, during one of my sleepless nights this week, that even if you were her spouse, daughter, sibling, niece or nephew, son-in-law, grandson, friend, coworker, neighbor, or caregiver, you felt the exact same way. We were all so lucky to have her in our lives. Thank you for loving us, lady. You will live on inside of me. I promise to take you with me.
No, yes, they want to do your skirt. Well, yeah, but okay. They can do it by themselves. That's fine. Well, I really want to thank my daughters. They took everything that I wanted to say, but they did it in a much better way than I could. So all it really leaves me with is to talk about how Lois and I met. Before I do that, I have a couple of shout-outs to the red light that's on in the camera there. My big sister, Arlene, Fred, Jody, Chris, Ray, Denise. I know you can't be here, but you are. Charlie Oakes in Boca. You loved Lois from the time she was a kind of a little girl. I appreciate your love and your affection. You and Phyllis had a big part of Lois's life. Now I'll get on with how Lois and I met. We met as a blind date. We were a fix-up from an associate of mine whose wife, I think, bowled with Lois. And we talked a couple of times on the phone, and we were compatible. We thought we might have a nice time. Lois, being Lois, asked me if I was at least good-looking. And I told her, well, I was average, not to worry. You know, I wouldn't embarrass her. Then she asked me, well, what if we don't like each other and you pick me up? What will happen? And I said, well, my mother raised me to be a gentleman, so I promise I will take you home regardless. So I pull into the driveway, and a light, she flashes the porch light. She told me it was the center house in a 6-house courtyard. It was kind of hard to miss. The porch light is on, and out steps Lois. Lois steps in front of the light. So now she's in a halo. The most beautiful woman I ever saw in my life, with the warmest smile, who was genuinely happy to see me. I was genuinely happy to see her too, because she was gorgeous. What does Lois do? She pulls me into the house, and I'm in the foyer. Danielle and Stephanie are up a couple of steps on the staircase, and she makes me turn around a couple of times to ask her daughters, what do you think with him? Should I go out with him? They're looking at me like, God only knows. So 8 years old and 12 years old. So they said yes, and Lois and I proceeded to go out. I walked out behind Lois. I never saw a woman saunter. She had the best saunter of anyone I ever met in my life. What I couldn't say to Lois then was, oh my God, I'm newly single. I got myself this bachelor pad, for want of a better word. I ordered a sports car. I'm 37 years old. I was married for 16 years. I want to live the life of a single person. That ship sailed as we left the driveway. We went and had dinner. Just to say that we were compatible is a complete understatement. By the third date, that was 2 weeks later, Lois said the same thing to me, that she thought I was the best thing that ever came down the pike that she ever saw. I was her dream person. Me. Who the hell? Who are you talking about? I'm talking about you. And then she called me her pet name, Big Boy. Later on, of course, we became inseparable. We realized that we both had the same desires, coming out of so-so marriages and having children that went through the separation, the divorce, the words that get said. We wanted to create a family that at least mom and dad loved each other, and it would pass to our children. So about a year later, much to their happiness, I moved in. We redecorated the house and moved in. We let all three, we let David know at the same time. This is it. Dave, oh, by the way, these are your sisters, Danielle and Stephanie. Stephanie was not very thrilled with it, but was willing to go along with it. Danielle was very happy. Oh my God, I got a brother and I have a dog. So what else could be wrong with life? So the four of us became a family first, and not long after, David and Faunce the dog arrived, and we became a family of 5. And over the years, we learned how to live together, how to love together, and how to become a family. We all saved each other. I'm looking at you two guys because it's the truth. I can't describe the happiness that Lois brought. Everything that they've said, and more so. There's not one of you in the audience that knows Lois that can't get up and say a word about her. What she said, what she did, whatever it might be. That was the way it was. And I got to be her husband, and I got to be her friend, her mate, her best friend, and watch all this to happen. I was so proud. I really was. She was the answer to everything that I was ever looking for. And she kept saying this, so was I. It was hard to believe. The first 15 or 16 years of ours, they weren't idyllic. We weren't Ozzie and Harriet. This wasn't the Brady Bunch. We were a normal family. David was an individual, and he chose a lifestyle that wasn't best, and he passed away in 2000. Lois was so shocked. 2 weeks later, she had 2 minor strokes. I was, God only knows where the hell I was. Lois gathers herself together as if nothing ever happened and tells me, look, Danielle's getting married in 4 weeks. We owe it to her to make this the best wedding that we possibly could. We did. Danielle got married. She married Craig, who patiently had waited for Danielle for a while you two guys were in college. And I was blessed with 2 more grandsons. Speaking of grandsons, I got my wish. I did not know what it was like living in a house with 3 females. I had 3 wives. I had people that told me how to dress, how to think, how to do this, how to do that. One time, I had Danielle tell me that she hadn't spoken to me in 3 days. Why? Well, I came downstairs, I was wearing a new outfit, and you didn't tell me how nice I looked. I learned David smirked, but we all really loved it. What most people don't realize is that after Lois had those strokes, although she looked and acted like Lois, most of you really don't know the real Lois. The strokes led to amyloid plaque, which led to her disease. It took many, many, many years. But Stephanie was sharp enough to pick up on her because she would watch her mother stand up and put one finger against the wall or something to hold herself up. Lois was the best actress. She would pull herself together for whatever we did, wherever we went, especially with family. And no one really knew until much, much later in her illness. Let me get back to some good stuff. Yes, she called me big boy. She called me some other names, and I don't want to repeat them. But she had a way of giving herself titles. I used to call her Tinkerbell, amongst other things, and beautiful begonia blossom. I don't know where that one came from. But Lois gave me the best name. She was in her late 30s, I guess, at the time. And she said, you know, I'm a beautiful fairy princess. And that's exactly the way she said it. And that was what I called her whenever we were alone. She was my 76-year-old beautiful fairy princess. She is not gone. I believe that. Right before she left, I had said to her, you know, David's up there and he's waiting. And what are you waiting for, Lois? You're killing us down here. She died about 20 minutes later. She had wonderful help from people that came, Aisha and her friend Janine and Andrea. And I'm forgetting names, so I'm sorry. The beautiful girl in black that's over there. She had the caregivers that Lois had assisted me as well as her. I never could have done what I did without their assistance. They were angels of mercy, and I am forever thankful and grateful. Samantha, okay? I am forever thankful and grateful. But Lois isn't gone. Lois will always be with us. I'm going to try to get through this. Lois is one of those people that we will always think of and we'll always remember. And this is a very short poem that I started to read after Dave died. There are stars whose light reaches the earth only after they themselves have disintegrated, and there are individuals whose memory lights the world after they have passed from it. These lights shine in the darkest night and illumine our path. Whenever you don't feel well, whenever you're not sure, look up, look for a star. That'll be Lois smiling down on you. Smile back at her, please. I loved her so much. Thank you.
If you are able to, we rise for the prayer of our departed, the Elmalei Rachamim. Elmalei Rachamim, shochein b'amromim, hametzei menucha nechona, tachat kanfei hashchina, im kidoshim edorim gezara rakia mazirim et nishmat liba bracha, which means a blessed heart, liba bracha. But Gnisha v'yankol shelach le'olamo barachamim yasirechu b'seitzer kenafav le'olamim v'yitzira HaChaim and Nishmato Adonai Nachalato Ve'yanuach B'shalom Al Mishkavo V'nomor Amen. Once again, in the space provided, please say the name that Lois will forever be known to you as. In love, compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to who has entered eternity, O God of mercy. Let her find refuge in your eternal presence, and let her soul be bound up in the bonds of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. The family would like all to know if you would like to give from your heart. In the name of Lois, you may give to the Alzheimer's Foundation. There's been a right, the exact URL address is on the Platt Memorial website in the obituary, or you may certainly ask the family. Straight from here, friends and family are more cordially invited back to 1828 Lark Lane. 1828 Lark Lane, that's in Cherry Hill in Woodcrest, or Woodcrest-ish. Shiva service tonight is at 7 o'clock. With love, for the mourner's Kaddish, we call up Jason and Jared. Please rise. Do you want my help? Yeah, you can do it. We'll just do it. Yeah, we'll do it with you. Okay, okay. Ready? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, v'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich machutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kariv v'emeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mivarach le'olam ulamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ah v'yitnoma v'yitnaseh v'yitada v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha b'richu Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran bi'alma v'imeru, amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imeru, amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. You may be seated.